His name is Confidence Saleme, and he joins us now on the line. Confidence, a very good morning to you, and I hope you had a fantastic weekend.
Good morning, Soto. Good morning to the listeners. Yes, I did. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So today we're talking about learning to lead yourself.
Correct, ma'am. Correct, ma'am. So we're talking about learning to lead yourself. And the interesting thing is that when we speak of leadership, many times we think about, being a manager in a department or being a CEO of a company or maybe even holding a position in government. So we have this idea about leadership that it's positional. And so if we don't hold any position, if we don't have people reporting to us, we don't regard ourselves as leaders. But the truth is, leadership begins with leading yourself, not others. You don't become a leader when you get followers. You get followers when you become a leader. And the best leadership training is the training you will receive through leading yourself, because you're probably the hardest person you'll ever have to lead. Many leaders find it easy to teach others, guide others, and nurture others, but they don't find it easy to teach, guide, and nurture themselves. Some leaders are like mechanics who drive run down cars that are always breaking down. They're able to fix other people's cars, but their own cars are not in a good state. But this should not be the case. It was the great motivational speaker Les Brown who said that it's not enough to preach the message. You have to be the message. And when people see that you're able to lead yourself, they will trust you to lead them as well. So today I'd like us to discuss 3 areas of development for effective self-leadership. Number 1 is self-motivation. Most people rely on external motivation in order to continue in the pursuit of their dreams. They rely on external conditions being right. They rely on family and friends to encourage them. And they rely on mentors always being available to uplift them. But the truth is that the conditions aren't always right. Friends and family aren't always supportive, and mentors aren't always available. If all your motivation is external, you're going to find yourself feeling very demotivated much of the time. So you have to develop the ability to encourage yourself when things are hard. You need to know that you are not doing it for mere applause, but rather for the positive impact and results that your leadership will produce. And self-motivated leaders do not survive on appreciation from others. They don't depend on others to validate or affirm them. Leaders who rise on compliments and appreciation from others will fall on the criticism and lack of appreciation from those very same people. As a leader, you must know that those who say hallelujah today can turn around and say crucify him tomorrow. So number 1 is self-motivation. Number 2 is self-discipline. It was the legendary motivational speaker Jim Rohn who said, "We must all suffer from one of 2 pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons." Close quote. Self-discipline teaches you a lot. And one of the things it teaches you is consistency. And when you're consistent, you produce a result. It is the consistent learning that makes a master out of a student. It is the consistent training that makes a champion out of an amateur. It is the consistent water it receives that makes a plant grow and produce fruits. Consistency is the key to productivity, and self-discipline is the key to consistency. In its simplest form, self-discipline is the ability to say yes to the things that will develop you and no to the things that will bring you harm. When you say yes to physical exercise, yes to consistently working on your gifts and talents, yes to pursuing your purpose, then you are exercising good self-discipline. So number 2 is self-discipline. Number 3, and lastly, self-confidence. This is one of the most important elements of self-leadership. People who are self-confident become great leaders, because when you are self-confident, it's easy for you to uplift and develop other people. But leaders who feel small tend to make those they lead feel small as well. Self-confidence makes people believe in you also. And when you lack self-confidence, they will not easily believe in you. And one of the ways to build your self-confidence is to start developing your strengths and start focusing on what you're good at. I always say that the easiest way to destroy an elephant's self-esteem is by asking it to fly. And many of us are powerfully gifted, but because we are not focusing on our strengths, we fail to recognize our true value. In closing, we say that in learning to lead yourself, we must, number 1, have self-motivation. Number 2, we must practice self-discipline. And number 3, we must develop self-confidence, learning to lead yourself.
Well, thank you very much, Confidence. The last one is my absolute favorite, Confidence. I think you can get just about anywhere with a little bit of self-confidence. Thank you so much for joining us, Confidence, and we'll be with you next week.
100%. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
All right, great stuff. That was Confidence Seleva, who is our regular motivational